You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. Well, good morning. Well, hope you guys are having a great finish to the week. We are wrapping up strong ourselves. We actually have a great guest interview that we have lined up for you guys today on the podcast and on the show. A lot of excitement already this morning, and just getting to catch up with Trevor before we hit the magical red record and start button. So really quick, guys, we are joined by a special guest. We have Trevor Dry joining us with Dry's Lawn Care over from Stanley County, North Carolina. So Trevor, good morning, brother. How you doing?
Good. How about you, Brian?
Hey, just doing good, brother. We're actually recording this first thing on the weekend morning, and telling you what, it feels good to have a day off. I don't know about you. How's things going work-wise for you guys?
We've been wide open since about mid-April. It's like a switch flip, man, and we have just been full swing ever since.
Is that right? You guys been work 6-7 days a week, or what's up?
Pretty much 6 days a week solid up until this week.
Yeah, amen to that.
So,
well, we've been hauling butt, man. We got all of our mulch done, all of our maintenance done, everything that I've been complaining about for 6 weeks on the show, you know? So
I know what you mean, Brian.
Yeah, I was joking. I'm like, you guys working today? You're like, no, this is the first weekend I've had off in a while, and getting to enjoy some family time. So what, you guys got any family obligations this weekend, or you guys just kind of hanging low?
Just doing a little bit of mowing on my property, and got a family get-together to go to this evening, and just kind of relaxing, you know, taking a little easy from busting our tail the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's nice to have a little bit of time to catch up and just, you know, because normally, like, during the week, if, you know, I try to mow my property in the midweek, and it's just like, rush, just get it done. You don't get to enjoy it.
Yep.
So, like, now it's like I can just take pride in my yard. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
sure.
What do they always say? Like, don't if you go to the landscaper's house, his landscaping is always a mess. If you go to the plumber's house, he's always got the one with the leaky faucet, one of those deals.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's exactly right. I've heard that 1,000 times. There's a lot of truth to that.
It's funny how that happens. You know, it's so true. Because even my mom's property that I try to keep up on a little bit, she keeps bugging me. She's like, when are you gonna do a dethatching and an overseeding? And I'm like, I've just kept pushing it down the road. And I'm like, Mom, I'm swamped. I'm like, unless you want to pay the hourly rate, I don't have so much time in a day, you know. And
that's exactly right. It's hard to get the motivation once you get off for that. It's like, man, I just work like 10 hours. I really don't feel like going home and doing my own stuff or going home and taking care of so-and-so's property.
Yep.
So yeah, I understand totally what you mean.
I feel you there, brother. Well, yeah, we're in the same boat. We got a little bit of family stuff we're doing this weekend, just trying to chill out, hang out. Actually, really quick, funny story. My wife, in her closet, she has one of those like shoe rack tower things. It looks like glorified Lincoln Logs, you know, and it actually fell over. I don't even know how or why that happened. Well, I've got some theories. It's called stacking endless amounts of clothes on there, and I'm like, you need to hang these up. But funny story. She's gonna kill me if she listens to the show, but she doesn't listen to the show, so who cares, right? But
that's right.
the whole tower fell over, and I was like, babe, you have to fix that and put it back together. And so to do that, we got to take all the clothes like kind of out, and then I got to rebuild the tower, and we ordered a new tower in case it was broken, because it probably is. And but the funny thing is, it's been in there for like 3.5 weeks like that.
Wow.
But I haven't had any. She's getting, you know, murdered, you know, taking care of my baby, and you know, new little infant, and I'm getting killed in the season, and I'm just like,
everybody's they're burning at both ends right now.
Yeah. So like the first weekend off I have, it's the honey-do list, and I'm like, hey, we are 100% cleaning out and fixing your closet, which is just how it goes sometimes. I'm like, she's like, well, can you help me put it together? I'm like, yeah, in July. So
yeah. When I get caught up.
Yeah, I'm like, because at 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock at night, we're both just wasted. You know, we're just wiped out. You know, but I digress.
Yeah,
but,
see, like I'm in the same boat as you, because like I'll get home and mom be like, hey, can you trim the shrubs sometime? Like, yeah, well, I've got like a 5-day-a-week mowing schedule, and then Saturday's worth of work. So like anything else needs to be done. Like I'll try to find time.
Oh, it's so sad and so true at the same time. It's just how it works, guys. Well, that's the busy spring rush. Well, Trevor, we're gonna hear a little bit more about you and your story today. You actually reached out on Instagram. We've been trying to lock it down for a couple of weeks here, and finally I just got some time, which, like, ironically enough, goes full circle too. We're all just busy. So I always appreciate you guys being flexible with me. I'm trying to get so many of you guys on the show, and I'm working, y'all are working. It's a lot to balance and juggle, as you guys can imagine. But let's do this really quick. I want to hear maybe give me the 2-minute highlight reel. I know you listen to the show, so give me the who you are, your background, where you're from, how old you are, and then what your kind of company looks like today. And then we're gonna kind of crack open your story a little bit more today.
Okay. So I'm Trevor Dry. I'm out of Stanley County, North Carolina. I own Dry's Lawn Care, and I've been in business about 3 years. Well, I did it through high school, but my legit being in business was for about 3 years. And so I started right after I graduated high school doing it on the side, and I actually worked for the local municipality doing ground maintenance, running the ground maintenance crew out there.
Oh, cool.
And up until about last year, I got to the point where I had like 15 accounts on the side, which in Stanley County, most of your properties are to an acre, if not bigger, and then you have some subdivision lawns, but most of what I do is acre plus.
Okay.
So it's bigger stuff.
Yep.
So like I got to the point though where I'm like, okay, I've got 15, and I was doing like another 25 or 30 for the municipality that I worked for, and I'm like, I couldn't balance no more. Like I had my limit. So this past winter, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I really want to. This is what I have a passion for, is lawn care, and I'm doing it, but I'm doing it in 2 places. So I decided to leave the municipality and go out on my own and just run full circle with mine and just see where it goes. I mean, I'd like to within, a couple of years be running a three crews, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. So you're 20, you've been doing this for a handful of years, and then on your own is this your second season then technically?
Yes, sir. I've been on my own technically, yes, for 2 years. Yes, sir. Okay,
cool deal. Well, it's all of you guys getting started in 2020, 2021 with the worldwide events and everything in between. It's I'm telling you, if you guys, knock on wood, because you never know if aliens will show up, but at the same point, if you never know, man. If the last 2 years, if you can survive it in business and with $5 gas, and I would imagine you guys can probably make hay through almost anything here. So
yes, sir.
Well, let's do this. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and I'm going to take a quick sip of Uptime. That is our my go-to energy drink the last couple of years. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water, clear the throat, and then we're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements. And then I want to hear a little bit more from Trevor. He's got a really interesting story. He's doing lawn maintenance, but he's also a little bit more of a one-stop shop. So he can do tree work, tractor work, your landscaping work, your lawn maintenance work. I'm really liking his business model. He's doing a lot more with a lot less. And so he's very, very profitable with his approach. So if you guys want to hear a little bit more from Trevor and his story, we're going to hear from today's show sponsors, and then we're going to come right on back.
Is your back sore from spreading peat moss manually? Are you sick of spending hours trying to create even layers in your yard, only to lose 30% of your product to a wind gust or uneven distribution? If you are looking for a quick, easy, and efficient solution that will not leave you covered in dirt and dust, the Landsea Compost and Peat Moss Spreader is the answer to your prayers. Expertly developed in the USA with a lightweight frame and comfort grip handles, this powder-coated mesh barrel roller makes spreading a breeze no matter the size of your project. Simply clip the handles into a cymbal, load it up with the top dressing of your choice, close the latches, and roll away. Featuring a tumbling cage to break up large clumps and distribute your product evenly every time, our spreader is better for your lawn and better for your wallet. Our modern approach to lawn care will have your lawn looking lush and professionally maintained in no time. With our complimentary Landsea lifetime product warranty and free shipping year-round, you can buy with confidence knowing that we've literally got your back. Visit Landsea.com to learn more and place your order today. That's LANDZIE.com and use Brian's 10 at checkout to save 10%.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to go right back to Trevor and hear a little bit more of his business and his startup story. So, Trevor, really quick, I want to take it back to, way back in the day for you, like 3 years ago.
Okay.
What was the excitement with cutting grass and getting into the green industry? I always love hearing people's kind of origin story or, interest with, the outdoors. So were you doing this as like a 10-year-old kid or just something through high school to make some money, or what's your story there?
Well, ever since I was little, when I was 4, my grandpa used to put me on his old John Deere garden tractor, and I used to cut grass with that. So I've always had a love for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was about 14 and a half, my neighbor owned a lawn care company, And he approached me one day. He's like, "Hey man, you want to like go mow with me some? Just make a little side make." I was about to turn 15, and I was needing, of course, need to save up for a vehicle and all that. So I was like, "Yeah." And step back a minute though. I grew up on a farm, so like all I know is work. That's what I love to do. Like it's not work to me; it's fun.
Amen. Yeah.
And so anyway, when he approached me, I, of course, took him up on it, and I just kind of fell in love with it from there.
Okay.
And I worked for him till I was about 16. And then when I got my license, of course, I had like 2 or 3 yards I did in high school. And I just always loved it. I couldn't ever get enough of it. I wanted to take on more and more, but with school. And then I started working for the municipality when I was in high school too, actually, part-time. So like I had a loaded schedule.
Sure. So you were managing cutting grass, going to school, and still working a part-time job.
Yes, sir.
Wow. What was that like for a teenager, in rural North Carolina?
You go to school, you get off, you go to work, which is with the municipality during the week, and then I'd work till dark or whatever. So that would be in springtime by 8, 9 o'clock every day. Come home, do homework, get up, repeat.
Yeah.
And then Saturdays was cut grass.
So it's been in your blood for a long time. You know what I mean? And
yes, sir.
It's funny when you're 15, 16, 17, you got, kind of arguably nothing but time. I mean, you don't hopefully have a lot of responsibilities as a kid, if you will. And like, for example, my property right now, a lot of you guys know the 3.5 acres that we hope to break ground on here later this summer into fall. I've got a young kid named Bronson. Some of you guys have seen Bronson in my videos, and he's got a 40. This sounds probably awful, but he's got I'm probably sound like a bad person here, but he's got like a 42 or a 44-inch Cub Cadet tractor mowing my 3.5 acres right now. So I said, how much you want to mow this thing? I said, just name your number. And he goes, $75 or maybe $90. And I said, I'll pay you $100 every time you mow it. And he mows the whole thing and trims, but it takes him a while, 3.5 hours. Like, I mean, he can only go so fast. He's got 42-inch cutting deck. And I'm like, hey, I talked to his mom, and we're all really, really cool. And I said, hey, I don't want you to feel like I'm taking you over, on one. So if you want more money, like, just let me know. And it's when you run the numbers, instead of sending my guys out there and my crew and my rig and gas and all this other mess, it's basically a wash anyway. And then my guys could actually be producing in the field. And so, yeah, so he every time he gets done, he sends me photos, and we message back and forth. And he's 15, man. He's excited as you wouldn't even believe, like, it's work for him. He's like, I love this. I would do this all day. And he's making, gosh, $100 a week over there mowing my property. And but you know what? Like, ironically enough, it's like planting the seed. 5 years from now, he might be like the next landscaper in the area if he wants, and making $100,000 by the time he's your age, Trevor. And so give those kids a chance, man. Those 14, 15, 16-year-olds, they they can run laps around most 30-year-olds. I'll tell you that. The ones that know how to work hard, So, well, okay. So take me to you're 18 then, because you're graduating high school, probably the fork in the road. Did you want to pursue college, or did you just know that you wanted to cut grass, or what were you thinking there?
So I went to, initially I was going to go to the local community college, which is Stanley Community.
Okay.
And I was going to take heavy equipment operations because I've always had a love for running equipment too. And I sat through in high school in Stanley County, what you can do your senior year is if you finish up your credits and you can quote unquote graduate early, which means your first semester, which would end in January. After that, your second semester, you can go to community college for a semester for free.
Okay.
So I jumped on that and I was like, okay, cool. I'll do heavy equipment operations. Well, I sit through this class called grades and drawings, and there was some other math class. Well, I'm not a math guy, so that didn't go good anyway.
Sure.
And I sat through the grades and drawings, and I'm sitting there like every Tuesday, which I was actually, when I graduated early, the municipality hired me on full time right out the door.
Oh, okay.
So they would work on my schedule though, to where I could go to school on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings.
Okay.
So, but I could still work when I wasn't at school. So with that, and it was the municipality, you had this awesome benefits. So that's really what held me there as long as that was. But anyway, to get off topic. So I went to community college, and I'm sitting there like thinking the whole time, man, I could be working, I could be cutting grass, I could be building into my business or whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't need to go to school to learn how to run equipment. Like, I know how to run equipment. And if I ever want to do that, people will teach you. Like, and you don't really learn without seat time anyway.
Right.
So I finished out the semester, and anyway, I'm just like, and it was hard for me that year because I would work in the evenings on my business after I got off work too. And I'm like, I don't want to come home at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30 and do homework. I'm dead. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to do paperwork and go to bed.
Sure.
So like, I just didn't, school was never my thing. So I ended up not going back. And like I said, I worked for the municipality for another year, and then it got to be too much. So I just walked back out on my own.
Okay.
So,
when you said you were working at the municipality, how many lawns were you doing on the side? Like, did you have enough to make the jump, and you had a good, weekly mow schedule, or was it like, all right, I'm leaving this thing, time to make hay and really, really take this thing serious now?
It was kind of like I said, I had about 15 accounts, which isn't much really, but for when you're working 40 hours a week and then add that on top,
right,
it was a lot.
Sure.
So like, no, I didn't have enough off the bat to do it full time.
Okay.
I kind of made the jump with him faith that it would all come, and it did. The first in North Carolina, we start cutting grass about 1st of March.
Okay. And
so like March was kind of slow, and then April hit, and it's like a switch flipped, and like I think I grew 15 properties in a month.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yes, sir. Yeah, it's been a huge blessing for sure.
What are you doing to get customers out there? What's working for you in North Carolina? Like younger guy, you don't have all the money in the world just yet. Like you're just getting life started. So what are you noticing that's working for you with marketing? Yard signs, flyers, just word of mouth. What's working?
I put a lot of yard signs out, and about every yard I do, I put a yard sign on.
Oh, okay, cool.
But 90% of the properties I get come from word of mouth.
Wow. Okay, that's really good.
I post a ton on Facebook, but like I say, it all comes back to word of mouth.
When you say you post on Facebook, for some of the younger guys that are just getting started, they want to know how you're doing, what you're doing. What are you doing with Facebook?
So like I post like jobs I do and stuff and whatnot, and I like throw in what we done, and like if it's a landscaping job or yard, I'm like, hey, this is like we did this with this treatment, and this might not to give away my secrets, but hey, like we treat lawns, and then just stuff like that, and then put my logo, my phone number, all that in with it, to where people can contact me to make it clear that I'm still accepting clients.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of what I do.
Do you have a business page, or you like running ads, or just on your personal account?
For Facebook, it's on a personal account. For Instagram, I have the business page.
Okay.
Which I've actually got work off of too. Not much, like 10% of my work came from Instagram, but that's my only business page I have.
Yeah.
For now.
No, that's really, really cool. A lot of folks, I don't know where this ever came from, but people are like, well, Facebook is dead. And I'm like, Facebook is not dead. Facebook is,
no, sir.
It's changed. It's definitely changed. It's cool for your parents. Okay. So, and there's a lot of young people on Facebook too, don't get me wrong, but it's really for your 35, 40 plus crowd. And you're really, really smart to be sharing your finished work on both platforms. Maybe Instagram might be for the younger folks, or just a showcase. But then,
yeah.
But you know what? Your parents and the people that have the money, your grandparents, those folks, the 40 to 50, 60-year-olds that a lot of us are doing work for, they're on Facebook. And if you make a really nice post and take really good photos, maybe before and afters, hashtag it with your area, geotag it or tag location, that's a great way to drum up work. So that's that. And then you said word of mouth referrals. How are you getting people to spread the name about what you're doing?
Like most of the clients I've had, some of the clients I've got, I've been doing since high school. And so like they, of course, if they've kept me since then, they're happy with the service I provide. So they, of course, without a doubt, spread the word, and it's helped tremendously.
Okay.
And then actually my commercial account, I got a 20-acre commercial account, and it actually came from the local municipality. The police chief actually referred me to the people that own it, the wedding venue.
Wow.
And he got to chatting it up with them one night, and they made a comment to him about they were looking for a lawn guy, and he was like, I got you.
Yeah.
And he kind of talked me up. Then we got on a group call, and anyway, just went from there, and that turned out to be a very good relationship with him.
Wow.
So, yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. And then that led into some growth that I did not foresee coming this year, but it's been awesome. I mean, I ended up adding a guy on to help me, which I was mainly planning on staying solo. But when I got that account, I was like, well, I had a Snapper Pro 52-inch. Well, 52 is not going to really cut 20 acres in a reasonable amount of time. So I went and got the Gravely Pro Turn 660 and picked that up, and we run both those now, and we can knock that place out in about 8 hours.
Wow. That's got to be a pretty big account for you then.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little overwhelming at first when I showed up because it's like, where do you start? But then again, when I worked for the municipality, I had mowed parks and just a lot of big properties.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't something I hadn't done before. It was just, when you take on something new, you got to find a rhythm in it.
Yep. Well, and the thing is too, people are like, well, how do you bid the larger sites or mow the larger sites? And I'm thinking to my go-to is, the whole, how do you eat an elephant thing, one bite at a time. And so like an 80, condo complex, it's the same, it's 80 individual houses. And I'm not saying that's how you got to price it, although that could be, one way to look at it, but it's the same thing. You just start somewhere, you think bite-sized little pieces. And so when you have, 20 acres, it's no different than doing, 1 acre 20 times. And so
that's right.
There might be a different approach, like you said, maybe the way you stripe or where you're doing different sections based on the time of day or foot traffic or people coming in and out of that place. But don't be afraid to bid those bigger sites, guys, those 20 acres, 50 acres, 80 acres. Just, what one piece of advice I'd say is just make sure you guys can get a fair acre rate out of that. None of this $20, $30, $40 an acre stuff. And I know some people are like, well, the budget's not there in the municipality this and the city that. And I'm like, well, that's not your problem. You know what I mean? Like that's their budget's the problem. And I'm, not being a tough guy, but at the same point, are you going to get 100 an acre for municipality park? Probably not. But don't cut you guys yourself short. Your equipment's worth it. You're worth it. Your time, your guys to pay them well. You can't be making money on that stuff at $30, $40 an acre. I just don't see how those lines cross. But so 20 acres though, that's a game changing account. That's probably a good anchor account for you guys now.
Yeah, that really sealed the deal on our mowing schedule. Before then, I was running about 4 days a week, and then Friday was just my catch-up day, which still was working smoothly.
Sure.
Because before then, I still have I have an HOA account. It's an HOA neighborhood. It's not the actual HOA, but I started out when I was in high school in there with 2 lawns, and it's grew this year from 2 to 7 lawns in one spot.
Wow, that's really good.
And yes, sir. Yeah, I that's one of my favorite places to mow just because they're easy to do. I mean, and they look phenomenal. I mean, everybody in those neighborhoods care about their lawns, especially. So it's one of them that's fun to do. But I actually had a comment made to me the other day when I was edging. A lady came out to give me a check for the month, and she said, "You've got that down to a science." With it, I was edging with my weed eater, and I'm like, I said, been doing it since I was 14. It's kind of just second nature now.
Right.
I could about do it with my eyes closed.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's one thing where when people, like how do you guys get this all the time? But we'll drop the deck and mow a property in 10, 15 minutes, and people all the time they're like, man, I'm so grateful that you guys mow this thing. It would have took me 2.5 hours on a Saturday, and at the end of the day, you can't lose sight of the fact that like we all do a really, really good job, like, and we're saving people time and money, and they get to go do family time. So how long does it take you to do some of these like acre homes and acre sites and acre HOA? Like most of the properties here by us, they're a little bit smaller in the subdivisions. We have a lot of subdivisions around us. But yeah. You said you have some of the bigger properties. What's your attack plan for those? Do you guys take 2 mowers or 1 mower?
So mainly what I do, and see the guy that helps me, I only run with that guy 1 day a week, which is for the 20 acre property, and I have a 6 acre horse farm. So that's when he helps me with that.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
I'm solo the rest of the week, but most of my properties take about between 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Just varies on the size. And typically my game plan is I roll up on site, I weedy edge first, and then I kind of just mow the whole deal out. Because most of these, like I said, I've been doing them for a long time, so I know exactly what needs to be trimmed. I know exactly what needs to be edged. And then, of course, blow off at the end. And then I also add in like a weed service where like we spray Roundup if need be and stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
So normally you're looking at about 45 minutes to an hour.
And what are you getting for a lawn out that way?
For the subdivision lawns, which is like less than a quarter of an acre, is a minimal fee of $40.
Good.
Corner lots are about 45.
Okay, cool. And then what about for like the acre sites, the ones that are a little bit bigger?
You're probably looking at about 60, 65, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Maybe a little more acreage. So that's about what it's running around here.
Good. Cool deal. All right.
But as in in your area too, one of the problems I had starting out actually was you go to bid a yard and you give them a price for like say as an acre, it's about $55, $60. And they'd be like, okay, well, so-and-so's coming to look at it. And then so-and-so comes and looks at it and bids it for 40.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they'll do it every 10 days. We'll see. And I know as you are too, a weekly service only.
Yep.
And they're like, well, why won't you mow it every 10 days? I'm like, well, see, I have to, even if I was going to, I'd have to charge more than that because it's more wear and tear on my equipment. More time I'm going to spend here trying to get your lawn right because I've got to double cut it, maybe triple cut it. So people around, like, you always have the guy that'll do it for $20, $30.
Right.
And that's what really put a hurt on me starting out.
Yep. Yeah. I it's one of those things, like, it's just going to be I just honestly think that that's going to be a forever conversation in our industry and what we all do. And it's not, I'm not trying to be mean to those guys, because quite honestly, like, so many of us, just through ignorance, we didn't know what we didn't know. We all kind of, a lot of folks got started like that, and that's okay. I know that was my life story. I was the $20 guy, and I didn't know what I didn't know. But at the end of the day, like, if somebody says to you, hey, like, I got a guy that'll do it for $40 when it should be 60, just say, hey, that's great. No problem. We're a professional outfit. We do a good job, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the song and dance. But don't cater to that customer that wants you to, do a little bid war and, have you come down to meet the other guy, because literally, I'm at dinner it's such a practical story. It's a forever conversation. Like I said, it's going to happen every day, every week for all of us. My mom has somebody that's mowing by her property, and the guy, like, same thing. He's blowing grass onto her lawn, and she's like complaining to me. I'm like, Mom, I don't care. Like, I do care, because, like, I'm like, do I need to go, mess somebody up? And she's like, no. She just, but she goes, I don't know when these people come. They come every 10 days, and it's like the scraggly, crew and all this other mess. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? She's like, I don't know. I'm just complaining to complain. And I'm like, you gotta go talk to the other people. But they're doing bi-weekly cuts for $10, shooting grass everywhere, not a professional outfit. And I look them up on Google My Business listing. And Google search them, and I'm like, I told my mom, like, I don't think these people are in it long term, and they're a hillbilly outfit. And so my point is, don't try to compete with those guys. I get that all the time. Like, how do I compete with somebody who's mowing an acre for $40? And I say, well, you just got to market different. You got to brand different. You got to differentiate yourself, and just stay firm. Just stand firm with your pricing. Those guys will come and go. And I have customers that we've had, and they've had us, if you will, for 17 plus seasons now. So it's one of those things you just got to differentiate. If you sell them on price, you're always going to have to, compete with the next guy. But if you sell them on quality, you can almost name your price. Okay. So don't get into a battle war between price. Just always offer and try to communicate quality and value. So that's what you're doing, Trevor, and you're smart in that approach,
Yes, sir. And like a lot of, like, what you're saying, especially with pricing, if you hold to your price, a lot of times once they get that $40 guy or $30 guy and they're not satisfied with that service, they will come back.
Absolutely.
I have learned that.
Always leave it open-ended, right? Never burn a bridge.
That's exactly right. And if you just stand by your work and you do good, take pride in your work, and it goes a long way. I mean, just to show that you're there every week at the same time every week, and if not, you communicate with that customer. But anyway, the fact that you're there every week and your properties look the same and always are kept up, that goes a long way along with the price.
Yeah, amen, brother. You said it. I can't relate more than the story that I have with one of my anchor accounts. It's a $25,000 a year HOA. It's a decent account. I bid on it every year for 8 years, and I did not get it. Mm-hmm. And this, they just went through one person for 2 years, one person for 1 year, one person for 1 year, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. And they just went through like 5 or 6 different service providers. And at the end of the day, like, I went from 18-year-old pipsqueak, kid to 27, 8, 9-year-old, like, grown adult, like, more professional outfit. Maybe I wasn't ready for an account like that. But you know what? Eventually the tides turned, and we've had that account now for 5 years. We're about to submit another 2-year contract renewal. So it's just one of those things, like, let your quality speak for itself, let your price speak for itself, and play the long game, guys. It's and that can be tough, because I get frustrated too when I don't earn an account, or somebody, I've had people cancel this year because we went up $3, $4, and they're like, hey, we got to scale back. I'm gonna have my son or daughter do it, right? And then you drive by, and they have stripes in the lawn, which means they found another service, and they're getting it for $5 cheaper. And I'm like, man, like, why didn't you just be honest with me? Like, but you know,
Yep.
but,
Or you have the person, you go price it, and they're like, hey, we'll get back with you. Say you go price on a Friday, we'll get back with you Monday. You never hear from them.
never hear from them. Yep, you get ghosted. Yep. Yeah. Well,
Yep. I've had that happen on how many times?
I was gonna say I'm not the only one, so it's you too, Trevor. It happens happens in Carolina as well, you know. So
yeah, unfortunately, that's everywhere, I believe.
yeah. Well, it's just entrepreneurship, man. It's you know, sometimes people fall into the black hole, you know. But well,
Exactly.
let me ask you this really quick. We got about maybe five minutes here left. I got to get running here this morning actually to start doing a little bit of family stuff. But let me ask you really quick about equipment and some of the other work you do, because I think this really separates you from a lot of other folks. You guys you do some tractor work, some tree trimming, shrub pruning type of stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the tractor work. What kind of equipment do you have, number one, and then what kind of work are you doing, number two?
Okay, so with the tractor, I have a 1995 Kubota LA 2950, and it has a front end loader on it, and then I have like a box blade, I have a bush hog, have a woods finish mower, and then I have a aerator that goes on the back of it as well.
Oh, wow.
And for most of our bigger lawns, we do, like, I have a lot of lawns that are acre and a half plus, like I say. So when we aerate them, we use the tractor because you can cover the ground a lot faster. It has more down pressure, so it puts a better hole in the ground. It does a better job. But even with that, like when we do our mulch jobs and stuff, we take the tractor with us because it's easier to move the tractor around a lot of these lawns versus having to put out 15, 12 yards of mulch with a wheelbarrow.
Amen.
Because your time and half, it just makes your life easier.
Amen.
So, and then a lot of, like, with our landscaping, we put in like a lot of riverstone. We're getting ready to do a job where we're going to have 3 tons of riverstone and 2 tons for flagstone to do a walkway.
Okay.
So that's going to be a pretty big job. Where I'm going to use a skid steer of a friend of mine. But anyway, back to the tractor, like, it's just adding that to my company has expanded my service by a lot. I mean, I've went and took lawns that were overgrown, knocked them down with a tractor, went in there and cut trees out, moved them out of the way, piled them up, or had them hauled off, etc. I mean, it's just opened up a whole new variety of service we can provide.
Help me out here for a little bit, because I want to buy a tractor myself. I'm more than likely, if that might be a next year purchase. We moved 130 yards of mulch here in the month of May. But the final total was like 130 something, and wow. I borrowed my buddy Brett's Property Services. Shout out to Brett. I know he listens to the show. He rents it to me for a day rate for $100. It's a steal. If I need an operator, it's another $150 to $200, which is usually him or his brother. And they're great. I mean, I couldn't be more thankful. And you know, to be honest, it's the whole rent versus buy. It cost me, you know, $800, $600 in rental fees to, you know, get that on the Fridays or Saturdays that we use it in the spring. Versus maybe buying one for 20, 25 grand, but then it's, you know, the convenience. And then of course we'll expand services and get more into bigger stuff now that we have the tractor full time is kind of the idea, right? That's usually what happens when you buy something of your own. So help me out with what model was the tractor really quick again? I know it was a Kubota, 1995, what?
It's a L2950, which is about a 35 horse tractor. So it's a bigger tractor. It's on a bigger frame. It's still on the compact frame, but it's a bigger tractor.
Okay. Because I think I'm looking at the 25, like 525 or something like that. It's the one below it. I think it's like a 24.9 horsepower. It's the subcompact. It's not the little one.
Yeah.
But it's not the B series maybe that you're maybe rocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So you're talking about the Kubota, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm following you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I figured. Yeah. Yeah. You cannot go wrong with the Kubota. Like I say, I grew up on a farm and we used Kubota. We have a M6040, which is a Hoss for a Kubota, and you can't go wrong with them.
Okay.
The one thing I recommend if you're going to get a tractor is, of course, a must-have is a loader, but along with that, which is subcompact, I think now comes standard with four-wheel drive. So I personally wouldn't have a tractor without four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Because without the four-wheel drive, it's just, you can't lift anything. You can't go into a pile of mulch and pick up because there's nothing to help pull you into that.
Right.
But yeah, you cannot go wrong with the Kubota.
Let me ask you this: do you have the like the regular kind of like meaty tires that come with it, or did you get the turf tires?
Actually, I have the agriculture tires.
Yeah.
Because before I had it, my dad had it. Like I said, his farm, so it was in the hay fields and stuff like that. So they got used for a lot of that.
Okay.
But personally, if I was going to buy one, what I would use or get on it would be the I think they're called the commercial tires, or they're like they're not an agriculture tire, but they're not a turf tire.
Yep.
They're kind of the perfect in between.
Okay.
I would highly recommend them.
Yeah.
Because we have a John Deere 4052R, which is the bigger tractor, but it has those on it. And it actually can lift more than my Kubota. So when we move Riverstone and stuff, we usually take it to a job because it can pick up a ton versus my tractor can't.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't tear the turf up near as much as what an agricultural tire will.
Yeah. I think that's what I priced mine out with on their website because I've been in talk with a local Kubota guy over here and we could have pulled the trigger on it. That's why I got that other utility trailer with the 10K axles because I want to upgrade. I want to upgrade at a tractor, if not a skid, eventually. Whole nother story for a whole nother time. I want to. It's just, dude. It never ends with like spending money. But
exactly.
But I was telling because Liz is like, what do we need a $70,000 skid steer for? I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, I'm spinning the dream, just like
because I want one.
Well, it's like that Instagram. It's like because we can, because we can.
That's exactly right.
You guys know that funny reel from Instagram. But the tractor makes a lot more sense, I think, because once we have our 3.5 acre property, I could do endless amount of work over there with the tractor. A skid to me would just be a fun purchase. I don't do as much landscaping or hardscaping. Like there's no way. I probably would keep it busy though with winter and snow. I know I could put that on a couple different commercial sites of us and get a nice pusher from either Boss or Arctic and rock and roll with that. But let me ask you really quick while I got you with the tractor. How are you pricing out the tractor? I think that's a question that I have and I get a lot is, are you just using that as a convenience tool? Are you billing it out per hour? Is it just cutting down your production? Like you're more productive, so it's costing you less time on the site, or like how are you bidding out a bush hogging job?
So for like a bush hogging job, like I charge by the hour for the tractor. If it's a guaranteed, like that's what the whole purpose milling job is for, to take the tractor.
Yep.
So like my minimum to load that tractor up without an implement is $120 an hour.
Okay.
Now, adding like a bush hog to it, you're looking at $150, $160 an hour rate to mow the property.
Okay.
Now, so say when I go to a landscape project and I take the tractor with me, I add in another $100+ an hour onto labor and overhead charge. Okay. So it kind of you just blend it in on something on like a landscape job, but for the tractor, that's about what I'm averaging on.
That's good to know. That's really good to know because like people are asking me, like we bought a Billy Goat P2000 stand-on leaf blower, and some folks are like, how are you billing that out? And I'm like, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to dial that in because we're getting done with the job faster. But I'm like, do we charge a $75 premium per hour or, just per job to have this thing on site? And so, same thing with our mulch force, like it's a convenience tool. So we're getting the job done, but we're putting wear and tear on that machine. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to figure out how to like recoup that overhead on those pieces of equipment. And so if I buy a tractor, I get the mulch job done faster, and I guess I save on labor. But at the same point, am I charging $150 day rate to include the tractor in the landscape job? I don't know. I'm learning all that.
Yeah, and see, I'll tell you straight up, when I first started using the tractor for side work and stuff, I went and met with actually a guy that sold out to a huge company around here, but he had a pretty big size landscape company as well. And he had an airport property. He wanted me to aerate part of it with it. Okay. So anyway, I go look at this property with him, and we come back, and then we're talking price. He's like, well, what would you do it for? And me not know, I'd never priced and housed that tractor. I didn't know anything other than I knew how to use it, I knew how to haul it, but other than pricing, I had no idea what I was doing. And so I look at him, and I'm real nervous because, like I said, this guy's been in business for 25 years. And I'm like, I'll do it for $150. And he looks at me, he goes, Trevor, he said, I'm not letting you load that thing up and take it there for $150 an hour. I mean, to do the whole job. He's like, that's too cheap. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, of course I'm like a deer in the headlights at this point. So I'm like, I just felt really stupid.
Sure.
And
we've all, and by the way, we've all been there. We've all been there. I one time, you're mowing a lawn for like, I don't know, $100. And the guy's like, dude, I wouldn't even let you do it for $100. Charge me $300. You're like, oh, okay. You got to appreciate people that do that for you,
Oh yeah, and he just shot me straight. He's like, you need to be charging this and this. I'm like, dude, I can hug you right now. It just made my life so much easier now because I didn't know that. Sure. And that's why I said that, because I know everybody's in that situation. I still find myself in those places today. Yep.
Well, and here's something I'll tell you guys, man. Like, it's one of those things people all the time, and this is what happens when you're younger. You think I got nothing but time. right? And so if it takes me a little time or it takes my Saturday or I do this, but it's just me, the guys aren't here, so I'm not charging for them. It's just me. I'll take care of it. Like, it's just my time. Like, you got to be charging $75 to $100 an hour for your time. I'm just, that is and so for the example, like the guy's like, well, you were like, yeah, $150. He goes, well, that's for the tractor, but that's not for you in the 2-3 hours you're going to have in the job, So that's probably like, he's like, I'll give you $400. You're like, all right,
exactly. He's like, and you need to be charging for like your load up time.
Yes.
And from the time to drive there to that job and to drive back.
Yep.
I mean, that you're still working. You still should be getting paid for that time. Your time is still worth something. And back to what you were saying, I didn't used to, of course, when I was 16, 17, that didn't mean anything to me.
Right.
I was like, I'm just going to work, make my first yard I got was like $45, which should have been like $80 yard, but I didn't know no better back then. But I loved it. And I was like, it's just my time.
That's right. It
goes all back full circle back to what you said. Your time is worth money.
Well, and here's a quick tip I'll give you guys, and this is a more broad answer or just a way to CYA, cover your butt. Here's the deal: if you're learning all this stuff and you're like, I don't know how to charge per man hour, per this, or how long this could take, or whatever, like, but you're like, you know what, this is going to probably take me an all day job. Here's what I would say: go to the other end of the spectrum. If you can't figure out what you need to do or charge per hour, and let's say you got this 10 acres you're going to go bush hog, okay, and you're like, it's going to take me all day. And your company, you should be trying to make $1,000, $1,250 a day. So whether that job's going to take you 6 hours and then, like you said, 45 minutes to load up and to drop off, okay, that whole day is spent. So maybe you don't know, hey, I should be billing this tractor out at $160 an hour. Okay, the other end of the spectrum is I'm going to have to block off this whole day. I just know I'm not going to be able to mow anything or do other mulch jobs or go weed pull. Okay, I'm going to spend the whole day doing this. At least have a day rate. At least if you're like, hey, this is going to take me 2/3 of a day to do, but you know what? That last 2 hours, I'm not really going to be able to start anything or finish anything up. It doesn't make sense to go load up the mow rig or go pull some weeds or whatever. Okay, look, if you're already going to have a customer, be obligated to their property for 3/4 of a day, I'm sorry, customer, but you're paying the day rate now. We got to get this to whatever your guys' day rate is, $750, $1,000, $1,250, $5,000 a day, depending on your company size, whatever. Figure out the day rate then. And for me, every day we're trying to make $1,200 a day. If I can gross $1,200 a day with my company, we're sitting pretty. We're constantly at 1,100. I'm still trying to get up to 1,200, but that's my day rate. So if somebody's like, hey, come bush hog this, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to take 5 hours, but you know what? Load time, unload time, dude, it's going to be $850, $900 instead of the $600 it would have been hourly, right? You got to get your day rate taken care of. So, that's Trevor.
Well, and
that's
with
awesome.
That also something I have learned to have to throw in is even with like these smaller jobs you're going to use the tractor, you still should include a minimal charge, like an hour. Like I say that as in you should have like a 3-hour minimum or a 4-hour minimum.
Absolutely.
Because even if it's not going to take you 4 hours, you're still burning fuel to get there and back. You're still taking time to unload. You're going to use half a day regardless.
Yep.
Within doing the job. So you should at least have a minimum, even if it's not going to take you that 4 hours. You still need to be getting paid for that.
That's a great tip. By the way, you know who else does that? Every single place we rent something from.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Like, it doesn't matter if it only takes you an hour and a half. You're like, oh, I'm going to go get my skid steering to rent a 24, 36-inch auger bit or whatever from your local tool place. Hey, they don't have an hourly rate. Okay. They have a 4-hour minimum or a day rate. That's the only two options. So why would we operate our business any different? And so here's the thing I'll say, like I was just talking to a buddy of mine, Scott, we're doing a coaching call and he's like, hey, just talking about weed pulling, just simple, the most simple stuff ever, talking about weed pulling. And I said, we have a 2 man-hour minimum for residential weed pulling. We have a 1-hour minimum for commercial weed pulling because we're usually on site. For most of our commercial stuff, they're all in the area, so we're there all the time. But for residential, it's a 2-hour minimum. So even if it's me and Rob or Rob and my other guy Dominic, and they go there for 45 minutes, which is combined an hour and a half of man hours, it's still a 2-hour minimum because they had to load up, they have to come back, they have to get the buckets, get leaf bags, get the weed pulling tool. So there's just a minimum. And so when you guys are out there bidding this stuff, you're like, well, I'm only there for 30 minutes to pull some weeds. It's 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. It only took me an hour. Okay, well, or 50 minutes. Well, charge for an hour minimum or maybe a 2-hour minimum. Like, you got to get paid for your time. It's all the little there and backs and back and forths and running to go to Home Depot to get leaf bags, or Site One to go get some leaf bags, or like you said, go get some Roundup, or whatever you guys are doing, whatever you guys are spraying. Like, stop giving away your time for free. Like,
exactly.
Like Drake said, like, people pay me for my time. I mean, it's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't listen to me, listen to Drake. All right. Like, I don't know that came
Well, I mean,
from.
there's a lot of truth to that, Brian. And like, even with like my weed, like you're working with weed pulling, we have a minimal fee to pull our backpack spray off the truck.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, well, it took you 5 minutes to spray that. I don't care. Roundup. I don't know if you've looked at Roundup. Like, Roundup's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's costing me just to spray that little 2 ounces, 3 ounces, whatever I just sprayed, and it still took time. And you know, whether it took me 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, it's still worth that fee.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
Well, and so we're all really good at that with our lawnmowers, right? Because we're all understanding that that's our bread and butter. That's our business. But when you're pulling out that cedar, you know, for your Echo Cedar or whatever, you know, and you get your spreader going down, and it's a $400 spreader, and you're like, oh, aeration, overseed, I'll just charge for the seed and then a little bit of labor. Well, no, you got to pay for the spreader. Like and so that's a whole job cost recovery thing, and we can start getting really technical on that. Maybe come to Lawnpreneur Academy Live and little sneak peek. We might have somebody that was there last year coming back. His name might start with P and end with P. Paver. I don't know. Paver P is probably too revealing, so we'll just call him P Pete. How about that? So we'll just leave it out there. But he's going to talk about cost recovery again and making money. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. So if you want to learn your numbers, that'll be our live event this November, and we'll help you guys out with that. Well, really quick, Trevor, we're going to button it up right here, man. This was
Okay.
This was really, really good. You and I could probably talk for another 45 minutes. Anything really quick, open mic that you want to leave with these guys? Because, man, I'm excited for you. You got a jamming business. Things are growing like crazy. You're young, full of spunk. You're ready to rock and roll. Anything you want to leave with these guys, or any last minute kind of closing thoughts? But if not, we'll kind of wrap this thing up, my friend.
Well, the biggest thing I'd like to leave them with, and to go back full circle with, is your time is worth money. And that's something within my business I'm still learning today. And then also, and another good point that we could probably talk on for another 30, 40 minutes, is learn how to tell people no. If you guys look at a job and you know that you're not equipped to do it, or that and long story short, it's too big and too much for you to do, tell people no and give them an actual explanation as to why you're not equipped to do it, and then leave them with a referral. Because in this industry, there's plenty of work for everybody, and making friends in this industry means a lot more than, you know, thinking that you should just take it all for yourself, when in all honesty, if you help somebody out, they will help you back.
Sure.
It all comes back to you.
That's really, really good.
That, and making sure that you're getting paid for your time is probably the two biggest things I've learned in this business, still learning today, for sure.
I love it. Two quick last questions. Number one, what's your favorite piece of equipment?
Oh, that's a tough one. For the lawn maintenance, definitely my new Gravely. I love my Gravely. It's been a huge asset to our business now. And then, of course, my tractor too. I mean, I love the tractor.
Riding in my tractor.
I have to go to there.
I love it. One last quick question. What's your favorite piece of content or thing that you like to consume, watch, or listen? Like podcast, YouTube, anything or anybody that you like watching, or what was something that you had like a big takeaway from maybe social media or a podcast or something like that?
Okay, for with podcast, anything with Corey Ballard in it. Or a guest interview has my attention.
Yeah.
I like it when it comes to listening to you or Corey Ballard. I am a sponge.
There you go. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey's the man. He's not speaking this year at LAL, but he is coming. He's one of the sponsors of our live event in November. So if you want to meet him in person, Trevor, you got to come on up.
Oh, I might have to just do that then.
There you go.
Because, like I said, between the two of you, I'm a sponge.
Yeah, I'm trying to work I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here just yet, but I'm trying to see if Corey has some time Sunday morning for maybe like a breakout session, maybe like a mastermind thing, like just a very intimate, like small 20, 30 people thing. It'll cost some money. It'll be a ticket to get there, but I'm going to bug Corey and see if I can get him in for maybe like a 25 person round table, and maybe for $100 you can pick Corey's brain for 3 hours. Sunday morning before we all fly out of town, So I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Trevor, what do you think? Do you think that idea would fly?
That $100 is more than worth it.
Yeah.
To talk to somebody like that. I mean, it's built an astronomical company and has just a wealth of knowledge.
Well, I'm gonna go bug Corey. I might even try to see if one or two other guys might want to stick around and we could do a little panel, maybe get some breakfast catered in or something. But it'd be very, very small, very limited, very intricate because I just want it to be intimate. I don't want 200 people there. I want like 25 people that are hungry for it, that want to maybe press in and go to another level and just have a little Q&A session, kind of open mic with Corey that morning. So we'll bug him and we'll see what he's up to. No promises. We'll let you guys know how that all kind of shakes out. But all right. Well, Trevor, that's what I got, brother. I got to get rocking and rolling here myself. Anything else that you want to leave? But if not, we'll button this thing up, brother.
I think I'm good. I appreciate it, Brian.
All right. Hey, really quick, as we wrap this up, where can people find you if they want to connect with you, link up with you, maybe reach out to you? Maybe they're in the North Carolina area, all that kind of stuff.
On Instagram at Dries Lawn Care.
And then
that's where my business page is.
Spell out Dries for me so they know, so they got it.
Do what?
Spell out Dries Lawn Care. DRY?
DRYSLAWNCARE.
Well, I know they got the lawn care part, brother.
I just wanted to make sure.
we got people down south. We got to talk slow, and yeah. I get all my southern friends. They're all like, "Man, I love the show, but he talks so freaking fast." And I'm like, "Man, I'm slowing it down to half speed for you guys. I'm pulling a Paul Jameson over here." You know what I mean? So,
yes, sir.
That's funny right there, Paul. If you listen to the show, that one was funny right there. Paul's fist bump in the air right now. So, anytime I give Paul a shout out, he's fist bumping, shadow bumping. So, all right, and we'll button up right here, guys. Give him a follow on Dries Lawn Care. That's DRYS Dries Lawn Care, and he's a really, really cool guy. He's got a lot of great Instagram photos. Talking about his tractor lies gravely. So if you guys got questions on those kind of products, or maybe you guys are looking to buy that equipment, pick somebody's brain. I mean, that's what this whole community is all about. So, Trevor, we really appreciate the time, man, and we're gonna button this thing up. So, guys, thanks so much.
I thank you, Brian.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, guys, we're going to button this thing up. So if you guys enjoy the show, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We always appreciate that as you guys are switching down and, going to the next track. Don't forget to leave 5-star. Maybe leave us a couple sentence review. Let us know how we're doing. We super appreciate that. Hey, the show doesn't cost you guys anything. You know what I mean? But if you guys want to reciprocate and show some love, that's the only thing we ask for is you guys leave those ratings and reviews and keep those coming in. So, all right, guys. Well, over and out here. You guys have a beautiful week, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Are you dreaming of enjoying your favorite ice-cold beverage on the perfect lawn this summer? Have you spent hours in your yard trying to turn it into a masterpiece only to realize you're not Picasso? We've all been there and know how frustrating and time-consuming this can be. Luckily, Landsea is the solution for all of your lawn care needs. Our diverse catalog of products was expertly developed by a lawn care enthusiast for lawn care enthusiasts. No BS, no inflated price tags, just user-friendly, affordable, quality equipment that can be easily assembled, easily maneuvered, and easily maintained season after season, no matter your experience level. We are so confident that our products will deliver that we're offering free shipping year-round and a complimentary lifetime product guarantee allowing you to buy with confidence. Landsea is also the exclusive U.S. retailer of Swardman Reel Mowers. Swardman mowers are precision-engineered and beautifully designed to cut your lawn quietly and efficiently time after time. Be the envy of all your neighbors this summer and visit Landsea.com to take the first step in achieving the better lawn of your dreams. That's LANDZIE.com, and you know what? That drink will never taste better. Use the code BRIANS10 to save 10%, and the link is in the show notes.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.